And I think with that, we're ready to start summarizing what we've heard today.
Right. Thank you, Mary. And we will go to Ricky in a minute. She's back in Denver. It's great to see you, Ricky. And we've had so much important input. I think everyone's voice has been heard, and collectively our voices have all been heard. I will pass it straight on to you to give us your concluding remarks.
Thank you, Veronica. Wow. Today, our patient community has spoken loudly and courageously, bringing insight into their unique PSC journeys. I thank our speakers who shared their challenges publicly and passionately, and the callers and comment writers who added even more substance to this vital discussion. Your input, along with the 819 survey respondents, helped us identify key symptoms that, when standardized, may serve as primary or secondary endpoints in future PSC trials. We presented aspects of pediatric PSC that are critical when designing pediatric clinical trials, and we discussed our hopes for effective treatments and an eventual cure. The burden of our unpredictable disease is overwhelming, and we hope that the FDA, pharmaceutical companies, academic researchers, and clinicians have gained a clearer understanding of what it's like to live with PSC. We understand the enormous challenges that researchers face in unraveling the complexities of PSC. In addition to being a rare disease, PSC is further complicated by its heterogeneous symptoms, its erratic progression, and its unexplained association with IBD. Today, the results of our Voices survey and our community presenters have brought to light the huge PSC patient disease burden. Currently, physicians can only attempt to treat our symptoms, and often unsuccessfully. Dr. Bolus and Dr. Becerra pointed out the huge unmet needs for future research. Unknown root causes and disease pathogenesis, no proven therapies to improve how patients feel and function, and nothing for improved survival. The extent, severity, and impact of symptoms are still not well characterized. Additionally, there are ongoing discussions about whether pediatric PSC is a separate disease entity or an early stage of adult PSC. For pediatric PSC patients, we still don't know the impact on growth and development. With a high risk for cholangiocarcinoma, current cancer surveillance tools still show low sensitivity. As patients, we can play an important role in both the current efforts to create an approved PSC-specific patient-reported outcome tool and the struggle to reach consensus on surrogate markers of clinical endpoints. While waiting for a cure, PSC patients today have expressed their critical needs, including earlier and more efficient diagnosis, as well as non-invasive tools for risk prediction and prognosis. We implore all physicians caring for IBD patients to screen for PSC symptoms, in addition to monitoring liver enzymes. We need more effective symptom management for pruritus, fatigue, and pain. Over and over, we've heard the message that transplant is far from being a cure and brings overwhelming challenges. For those transplanted, we seek a drug that can prevent recurrent PSC. We heard about the anxiety and fear of cholangiocarcinoma that is ever present for PSC patients. This week, we learned that filmmaker Jamie Redford, a 2-time transplanted PSCer, passed away due to cholangiocarcinoma at the age of 58. We need more sensitive tools for early cholangiocarcinoma diagnosis. We ask that industry consider including teen PSC patients in clinical trials, since pediatric PSC might very well be the early phase of adult PSC. Considering the enormity of the unmet needs of our small community, we seek standard of care guidelines to ensure proper care and patient surveillance. And of course, we dream of a medication that slows disease progression and improves our lives. PSC Partners is ready to help facilitate and expedite research. Our patient registry with 1,700 participants is growing, and registry data supports research endeavors. Our grant program funds novel PSC research. We've extended our reach to AASLD, EASL, and CASL, and we have awarded over $4 million to promising international PSC studies. We're constantly searching for ways to expand our international collaborations with PSC physicians, researchers, and patient organizations. From the start, we've played an active role on the PSC Forum, an independent, multi-stakeholder international group whose aim is to address regulatory hurdles with a guiding mission to facilitate safe and efficient drug development for PSC. Just before COVID, we received a 2-year grant from the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative for their Rare as One project. With their support, we are building a patient-led international collaborative research network of patients, researchers, and clinicians to define and implement research priorities. We understand the importance of developing strong, transparent relationships with industry. And from personal experience, we've learned about the power of engaging patients in the very early stages of a clinical trial protocol development. We've seen errors that would have been easily avoided had patient perspective been invited early in study design. We are prepared to increase our presence and serve as full partners throughout the clinical trial and drug development process. Together, we can focus on the needs of the patients who are the ultimate beneficiaries of any drugs or therapies. We can identify potential burdens and obstacles to the trial process and to recruitment. We can help with recruitment through our patient registry and disseminate clinical trial information via our social media platforms. On our Voices survey, one asked, what would prevent you from joining a clinical trial? Most of the 819 patients indicated the need for serious education about the process, drug safety, and benefits of participation. PSC Partners would like to help provide the educational component needed to build the necessary trust between patients and researchers. Patients also emphasized their need to be a respected, integral part of the clinical trial. To that end, we urge industry to offer patients detailed information about the drug and the trial protocol before, during, and at the conclusion of the trial. Our community is very enthusiastic about the post-COVID decentralized home-based clinical trial innovations highlighted by Dr. Baggett in his presentation. Removing the considerable burdens that clinical trials bring to our already challenged patients is a game changer. We strongly advocate for the permanent adoption of home health visits, telemedicine, electronic informed consent, home drug delivery, and surveys completed at home. Next slide, please. This slide, also from Komodo Health, shows the impact of the pandemic on United States PSC patient K83.01 coded provider visits. In March of this year, in-person appointments shown in maroon plummeted as telemedicine appointments rose. As can be seen by the green curve below, telemedicine became a viable option in April, as nationally 25% of PSC visits became virtual. With the current surge of COVID cases, we can expect telemedicine visits to rise yet again. These new adaptive options have shown that this paradigm shift greatly improves clinical practices for PSC patients. Today's discussions also solidified PSC partners' wish lists for industry. We've been shown the importance of identifying validated surrogate endpoints for PSC clinical trials and recognizing that normalized alkaline phosphatase levels don't necessarily correlate with improved quality of life. Biopsies are a sensitive issue within the PSC community. With the increased sensitivity of MRCPs, for most patients, we believe there is no longer a need for invasive, risky, and often inconclusive biopsies. We are eagerly anticipating the day when risky clinical trial biopsies will be replaced by emerging, safer imaging options. Many patients are willing, but unfortunately ineligible for a trial, and we'd like to see expanded inclusion criteria without compromising trial effectiveness. We appreciate trials in which patients who are on a stable dose of urso, for example, can still be approved without the requirement of stopping their medication. We need endpoints that focus on treatment outcomes and survival. We want PSC-specific patient-reported outcome measures that are FDA approved for clinical trials and that have been tested on diverse, large populations. We are actively studying ways of facilitating the development of a robust and regulatory-grade natural history database to support clinical trials. In closing, and I know that has been a very long day for everybody, we would like to express our gratitude to the FDA for hearing us today. We celebrate the game-changing support you've shown rare disease communities by requiring that patients become active stakeholders in research. You've given us the chance to integrate ourselves in every aspect of research, and we will seek your guidance to ensure full and active participation. Our urgent need for solutions continues to increase. Patients are suffering, and we continue losing beloved community members. Industry and the FDA, we want and need your help. We are ready to work with you. What you've witnessed today is the result of months of work by our PFDD planning team, led by Joanne Hatchett. Thank you, Joanne, for your sleepless nights and incredible attention to detail. Thank you to team members Mary Vias, Rachel Gomal, Megan Carey, and Jen Chavez, and to Joanne Green, Catherine Schultz, and Raquel Valerio. Thank you to our two outstanding moderators, Dr. Veronica Miller and Mary Vias, for welcoming and kindly encouraging all our speakers. Will Llewellyn from the FDA, we very much appreciated your mentorship. And John, Kyle, and Eric at Dudley Digital Works, your professionalism and dedication produced a seamless virtual meeting. Finally, thank you to our amazing, supportive, and tight-knit PSC community, the core of today's forum. You participated today with your heart and soul, and presented a powerful picture of the ravages of PSC. We will continue in our quest to find new treatments and a cure, while ending with our motto, together in the fight, whatever it takes. Thank you, everyone. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Ricky, those were such amazing closing words. You've hit on every key aspect of today's workshop. Thank you so much for your leadership in this field. It's been such an honor to work with you on this together with Mary. So I can just simply repeat your thanks to everyone, all the speakers and the panelists and the live discussants. What I can mention is that the comments section will stay open until November 6th, so please continue to make your voice heard. Please continue to send in your comments, and they will all be included in the patient voice report. This webcast will be available immediately on demand. You can sign out right now and start watching again and again and again. We wish everyone a safe rest of the day and a wonderful weekend. Thank you again. Bye.
Goodbye.